The February 29th by-election in Rochdale has sparked controversy with the unexpected triumph of George Galloway, who has been described as a charismatic figure known for his polarizing views and outspoken demeanour. Representing the Workers' Party of Britain, Galloway's win, capturing nearly 40% of the vote, has raised questions about the electorate's motivations and the implications for local politics. I'm here with Robert Tyler, Senior Policy Advisor at New Direction Foundation for European Reform.
Hi, thank you.
So what do you believe are the key factors that contributed to George Galloway's victory in this Rochdale by-election?
So George Galloway ran a rather interesting campaign compared to usual by-elections. A lot of people were expecting there to be a sort of strong presence from the Labour Party, but they had to suspend their candidate for making anti-Semitic and anti-Israel remarks. So George Galloway was effectively given an open race to run in. Now, one of the things that he did that really made things different was that he ran a kind of double campaign. So he had a set of election material that he was giving to people that had British-sounding names, and it was talking about curbing immigration and defending traditional values. And then he had a second set of campaign material, which was focused on people with sort of immigrant names or Islamic-sounding names. And in that leaflet, he talked almost exclusively about Gaza and about defending Islamic rights in the UK.
Why is this election being called controversial?
It's effectively down to George Galloway himself. This is, I think, his fifth or sixth parliamentary constituency over the span of 3 decades. And he keeps coming back at the sort of midterm point in various parliaments as an opportunist. And the reason it's controversial is the views that he himself takes. In the past, he has sided with just about every enemy of the West that you can think of. So, for example, in the run-up to the Iraq War, he was very defensive of Saddam Hussein. In the run-up to the Arab Spring, he was defending people like Bashar al-Assad. He ran an aid convoy to Gaza with the support of Muammar Gaddafi. He, for 10 years, had a TV show on Russia Today, and he's been closely linked to the Iranian regime as well.
How significant was the issue of Palestine in Galloway's campaign, and how did it resonate with voters?
This is where it comes back to this point of him splitting his campaign. I think when he was targeting migrants living within the constituency, he very much played into the I am the Gaza candidate and sort of defended himself as being anti-Israel. Whereas on the other side, he was playing into, I think, people's local frustration. One of the interesting things about this election is that not only was the first place taken by someone outside of the main 3 parties, but so the second place candidate was an independent who ran a small business. And I think it shows that the traditional party lines in the UK are slowly crumbling as people get more and more frustrated with the current Conservative government and the Labour opposition.
How did it affect his campaign that Azhar Ali was disowned due to these anti-Semitic comments?
I think it was a reasonable help to him. However, I still believe he probably would have won even if Labour had been running. As I said, what we see now is the sort of breakdown of the traditional party lines, where in the past it would have been a very safe Labour seat. I think a lot of people felt betrayed by the Labour Party. And I think one of the things that Galloway played to, especially in Muslim communities in the area, was this idea that the Labour Party was seen as being, from a left-wing perspective, too soft on Gaza.
It's been said that this result shows sectarianism and that religion played a big part in his voting results. Do you agree that that's the case?
I think to a smaller extent, yes, but only so far as the fact that it was Galloway himself who was trying to stir this up. If you look at the campaigns run by the other political parties, there was no attempt to try and stir any kind of division. But Galloway has always done this. If you look at some of his previous results, for example, I think it was in 2012, he won a seat in Bradford West, which is, again, another very heavily Muslim area. And he did the same thing. He worked on basically stirring up discontent between sort of long-standing residents and new arrivals.
How do you think Galloway's victory in Rochdale might influence political dynamics in other constituencies or regions or even nationally?
It's an interesting question. I think the main thing to notice is that, as I said, this is Galloway's 6th constituency. What usually happens is he wins in a by-election at the midway point and then loses at the general election. However, I think what's changed this time is that he's got a new party with a different message, and he's really tapped into this sort of anti-Israel, pro-Gaza, pro-Hamas message that I think probably does resonate in certain parts of the country. It's also interesting to hear that there's some rumors going around that he might try and form an alliance with people like Jeremy Corbyn, who was obviously the very divisive leader of the Labour Party, who has since been suspended.
So what do you think are the biggest challenges that you foresee for Galloways and the worker parties in Britain following this electoral success?
I think the main challenge is whether they actually hold on to any seats at the general election. But if they do, I think it'll sort of signal a change in British politics, that people really are looking to move away from the traditional two-party system.
Thank you, Robert Tyler, Senior Policy Advisor at New Direction Foundation for European Reform.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching RIX Europe.